So welcome to the Unleash Your True Potential series. I'm Helen Pengelly, and I'm hosting these interviews to help you harness the power of your intuition to help you make better and faster decisions. So in order to be able to do that effectively, it's also important to understand what may currently be stopping you. So today I'm interviewing Fiona.van.Rensburg, who is an alchemist, starseed and wayshower. She's the owner of a business called Portal of Alchemy, and she has over 11 years experience in transforming people's lives. The motto she lives by is heal your past, live in the now and dream your future. She's passionate about helping others reach their greatest human potential. So she invites you to take a journey with her to help you break through your own limitations. Her curiosity and intrigue started at a young age. Like most people, she tried all the mainstream jobs that society and family expected of her, realizing that this was not where her happiness and success lay. She came to realize that being a healer was her true calling after her own awakening, and she's never looked back since. Welcome, Fiona.
Thank you, Helen.
Oh, you're very welcome. So can you tell us more about your awakening?
Well, a lot of us, the awakenings is not a pleasurable event that has happened. It's mostly through some kind of trauma. And mine was sort of losing, going through a divorce in 2001. And I realized that I thought I did everything right, and the results that I got was not right. So it's sort of thought I'll draw the line in the sand and say, okay, so what's my responsibility in this? How did I create this? How can I not create this again? And so I became, I want to say, like a spiritual junkie. I read every spiritual book I could. I went on every breakthrough experience that I could. I looked at every spiritual video that I could lay my hands on, and it was just give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, just absorbing all the information. But and I also did my Reiki course, and the idea was just to heal myself and heal my children. That was my greatest anticipation and dream for this. I didn't think of taking it further, but it's as Spirit works with us. It was leading from one thing to another thing and realizing who I actually am, the guides that work with me, and that I came here to do this healing. But it was like I needed to go through my own healing journey, through woundings of divorce, trauma of death of a spouse, and abuse, and all kinds of terrible experiences that I've signed up for. But it is so that one day when a client sits in front of me, I've been there, done that, gotten the t-shirt, knew how to heal that emotional woundings, and then be able to heal. So it was when I started as a healer, my guides called me Doubting Thomas, because I doubted that I had a gift. I doubted that I had any of these abilities. I doubted so much, and I thought there's all these people that are healers, so why another healer? But I realized there's one that sort of that Spirit put on the training program that I went on, one that thinks the way I do, one that does the way I do. And I realized all I needed to be is my authentic self and just do my best. And as my connection with Spirit has grown over the past 11 years, so has my offering, and so has my light work.
Yeah, that's so true, isn't it, Fiona? We have to heal ourselves first before we can then go and help others. Yeah, and so so I was looking on your website, and you've done loads of different things.
Yes.
And so when somebody comes to you, how you've got this massive array of skills that you use. So how do you decide what what's best in somebody's situation?
Yeah, I don't decide. I'm very much guided by spirit. So how I work is I connect with my higher self and all my guides, and I connect with the client's higher self and all their guides. And then I ask them why they are sent to me, because I know they just send to me. The client has this intuitive feeling, oh, I like the energy, or because something resonates, or I think I need to phone her. It's for me just to figure out what spirit wants me to do. So in a session, I do the consultation where I get to understand where the client is coming from, their history, and I look at the emotional triggers. I look where I just follow the emotions, because mostly I'm an emotional healer. It's our emotions that blocks us. It's our emotions that limits us. It's our fears, our anxieties, all that. So all I do is I go and unblock and clear or tune or activate wherever the client is on their evolutionary journey. I look at where they are, and then I take them to their next step. So I don't have, I want to say, one size fits all type of offering. Everything is very much tailor-made to the individual, to the experiences, to the level of consciousness or their awareness. So those that have been on a spiritual path for a number of years, I help them even further. Those that is just starting off, I take baby steps with them. So it's all I do is I ask for guidance and I follow the instructions, and it's always stood me in good stead in the past.
Yeah. So have you got any tips for our listeners, how they can ask for guidance for themselves if they're feeling stuck, if they need sort of support in a situation?
Yeah, what I realized is it's nice to have a sounding board, because actually inside of you all the answers are. All I do is I listen to people. And if they just listen to themselves, they would know they're actually giving away all the answers. But we tend to get stuck in the mind and our mental patterns and programs and so forth, and our thought patterns. And that is attached to false beliefs and judgments that we make about ourselves. And we don't realize that when we transmute those, when we release that, we can do it. So I can suggest the journaling, because you need to get all the stuff that you've got inside of you out. Now, what's nice about journaling is to know there should actually be two journals. One journal that you can tear pages out and burn, and one journal that you keep and you can read it often. So when you feel good, it's to write all those. Oh, I succeeded. Yeah. I'm so grateful for this. I am this. All the good stuff we keep. All the bad stuff. I was a failure there. All the issues that we have, we need to write out. We need to write it out. If it's like poisonous energies in our system, we need to get it physically out. And by folding it in four and burning it, doing a ritual and say, I release now all these bad feelings, bad thoughts, judgments, unforgiveness. It's a very beautiful, purifying exercise that people can do. And then also breathing. Breathing gets us to calm, and when we calm and when we centered within ourselves, again, we can think clearly. But when we are fearful and anxious and apprehensive, the fears just has a field day with us. So there's times where I had to shift myself, and I would do something creative. I would do coloring in by painting by numbers, or adult coloring in books. And I will sit just doing something creative where I don't go in my mind. It's to get out of the mind so that the solutions can come. And I can remember once I was coloring in, and when it got to the third day, my son came down to me and he looked at me and he says, "Mommy, is this the best that you can do?" And I said, "Yes," and turn around and walk away. Because I needed to shift that energy, and I did. And then when we've shifted the energy, the inspired ideas and the know-how and all those beautiful answers comes to us. But while we sort of caught up in the fear, we become a magnet of all fearful thoughts, and it just comes and sits with us. And every time that we felt like a failure comes in our awareness, and we need to shift it. So if you can't shift it yourself, then it's good to have another person to help you shift and transmute. And that's why one-on-one sessions are so powerful, because you can allow yourself to open up, you can allow yourself to be vulnerable. And I find that we tend to, in alone and just by ourselves, we tend to get ourselves like sort of up the mountain just to before it tips over, but we can't get ourselves over. There's sometimes certain things that is just feels insurmountable in our mind. But when somebody helps us and coaches us and sort of gives us a lift over or face that we've never wanted to face, that's when we transmute it and have breakthroughs and break through the limitations. So there's certain things that we can do as preparation work, as clearing work by ourselves, and then to find a spiritual healer to help us with the ones that we get stuck at. That is advisable.
Yeah, I agree, because it's like when we get we work with a healer or a coach or somebody else, it's also having somebody who believes in us when we don't believe in ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and yeah, I like what you said about getting out of the mind. One of the things that I like to do when I'm feeling like that is doing jigsaw puzzles.
Yes.
Yeah, but it can seem counterintuitive, can't it, to do something like that when we've got a huge to-do list?
Yeah, but it's we have to honor ourselves. So, and that's why I said the biggest thing that if people can just take from is just listen to yourself. Just listen to what it is that you need. And sometimes you need to entertain that inner child and do that jigsaw puzzle, because it trains your mind to look for solutions and see how things fit in. And what we do on the outside happens on the inside. Even if we tidy cupboards and tidy the house, it actually structures things within our psyche. It actually gets our emotions back. So the outside has very much a reflection on the inside and the inside on the outside. And it's we need to change things around to be able to change the things inside of us. And I can see how the energy flows and how things change when I just start moving things around. When the energies get stagnant, and even if the energies inside of us get stagnant, and that's why doing stuff like yoga or Tai Chi or Pilates or stuff, we move the energies in the body, and we need movement. Anything that gets stagnant is not good, not healthy.
Yes, and I think at the moment that's with the current situation, what's going on in the world, that's a big problem for people, isn't it? If they're spending more time indoors, it's still important to make time every day for some kind of movement and exercise.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And I also thought it was interesting what you said about the emotions, because that's something that I sort of had a huge aha moment last year, was that we talk a lot about, physical health and now mental health, which is good, but we're not really talking much about our emotional health, and I feel that's just as important.
And our emotional health is actually the trigger to all the others, because it's that little inner child that still believes that you're not worthy or not good enough, or that you should be shameful for what has happened, or it's those belief systems and those emotions that we carry into our adulthood, and then attract like experiences to keep on learning that lesson until we get, oh, I am worthy. I don't have to do anything to be worthy. I'm born worthy and I'm still worthy. So, and it like takes one to go see another one. So it's like, as I had to live through that and realize the lies in it, the false beliefs in that, I had to realize my own lie programs, see who I really am, and not that which other people have said that I am, or the assumptions that we sometimes make that makes us stumble and fall in our future. So, and people, I want to say, get taught how to be a goody two-shoes, and everything needs to be compartmentalized, and everything needs to be, I want to say, smooth on the surface, and any emotion that comes up that you dislike, they either get swept under the carpet or it gets suppressed. But with emotions, they don't go and hide and disappear under a carpet or being suppressed. Somewhere they build up, and at an age or a timeline that you never expected, or when you sort of relax, then it starts to erupt or explode or come to the surface and say, hey, you know what? You had this belief system or emotion that you never dealt with. Do you think maybe it's time now to deal with it? And it's how life triggers us to bring things to the surface to say, hey, isn't it time to heal this now? Isn't it time to let this go? Because we gently get nudged by spirit. Hey, there's something here that you put away. It's not dealt with. You need to see it from a different vantage point, from a different light. You need to transmute this. You need to heal this, because you've been asking us, please help me raise to my full potential, but you still have this baggage of not so nice feelings that you have about yourself. And if you release this, you can have this. So you're asking for this, but we can't help you because you are attached to this. So yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, most people aren't even aware that that's what's happening, are they? And then they will go and try and, again, try and suppress it again by sort of drinking alcohol, binge watching Netflix, or unhealthy habits.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people is just not aware of what they are doing to themselves, by the thoughts that they keep, by all kinds of different things. But in the sessions, it all comes to the surface and say, oh, okay. Oh, I never told you about this, but this has now come out, and this is where it actually comes from. And sometimes it's stuff that happened in past lives. Sometimes we bring stuff into this lifetime, and it usually happens in childhood, to remind us of what was actually wounding that we've brought through that needs to be healed and dealt with. And when we do, we liberate ourselves, and then we can have different experiences. But it's easy for people to play the blame game. Now, I blame it on my teachers, I blame it on my parents, I blame it on this, that, or the other. And while we put the blame outside of ourselves, it can never be healed inside, because we give that power, and we're not standing in our power, we're not claiming back our power. So something has a power over us, and then we play that disempowerment game over and over until we realize, okay, no, I need to bring it within myself. What was within me that needs to be released, so that I don't attract this mirror, because everything in our lives is mirrors. And even if you divorce a husband that abuses you, and you think, okay, it was him, it's all him. Some people tend to attract another abusive partner, but it's something about, because something on the psyche, on the inside, programs that we have that say, I'm not deserving of loving and kind relationships. And they beat themselves up emotionally on the inside. And certain patterns, when we release it and say, you know what, I'm now going to work on my self-worth. I'm going to work on my self-esteem. I'm going to work on taking my power and not giving my power over to others, and not have these programs run to keep on having this mirror. If you want the mirror to change, you need to change. The change always starts with us. But you need a clear mirror to be able to show you that, to reflect that back to you, so that you can see, oh, okay, now I get it. And it's interesting. It's like when people talk to me, they'll say, oh, I never thought of it that way, or I've never seen it that way. So sometimes you just need somebody else to explain it to you, and then the pennies start dropping. It's not that we don't know. We know, but we turn a blind eye to it, or we dismiss it, or we suppress it, or we put it anywhere else. And then sometimes people will say, no, but I don't want to go there. I don't want to relive that. I don't. And it's usually where we don't want to go. If we, that is our point of liberation. If we face it, transmute it, it can no longer have any power over us.
Yeah, that's a big one, isn't it? The blame game, because it's all around us. We're in the news, in the media, when it's all the politicians' fault, and it's a really hard one to break that cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing all your wonderful wisdom with us, Fiona. And so how can our listeners find out more about you?
Okay, so I am on every social media that there is, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Pinterest, on Instagram, on YouTube. I've got various channels. If they just type in Portal of Alchemy on wherever they are, they ought to find me. My website is www.portalofalchemy.com. I've got so many talks, interviews, free guided meditations, attunements, all on my YouTube channel. There's satsangs, there's lots of wisdom and things that I share there, so people can go and have a look and listen to some of them. Or they can email me at info@portalofalchemy.com. And yeah, that's where they can find me. Or I am on Telegram on my cell phone.
Yeah, do people still send telegrams these days? Or faxes? Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, how much communication has changed. I mean, a few years ago, you know, you're in South Africa, I'm in the UK, we would never have been able to have a conversation like this. So
that's one of the benefits of this lockdown and the things that has happened. It's opened up the world to us. It made everything smaller. I love the Zoom platform. I do most of my online healings via Zoom. So there's so much that has come from this in healing and connecting people and integrating stuff, in sharing stuff. So yeah, we just have to see how to change and adapt with times and make the most of it, because it's available to all of us. Opportunities are still there. We just need to. I've always wondered, how can I touch more people's lives? Because I've had clients from the UK, I've had from Dubai, I've had from Australia, I've had from California, but it's like I wanted to spread it even more. And I love this platform to be able to do that and to create awareness. So thank you to people like you that helps others like us doing so.
Oh, you're very, very welcome, Fiona. I mean, it's so important, you know, because right now a lot of people are suffering and struggling. So the more we can get our message out, the better. And also, you're offering a free 30-minute consultation to our listeners. So how can they find out more about that and book that with you?
Okay, so if they send me an email and in the subject line they just put Portal 30, and then send me all their details. Then we'll set up a one-on-one consultation with them, and that will be for free. And then they can just hear if they what offerings there is, how I can help them. They can ask questions. It's my gift to those listeners that are wondering, is it what I need? Can she help me? What would be next for me? I can answer all those questions in the half an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. So all the details about how to do that will also be in the email as well. So I do urge you to take that up and make the most of Fiona's extensive experience and wisdom. So thank you so much for your time today, Fiona. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Helen.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you everyone for listening, and we will see you on the next interview.